Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where I'll be quite honest, I've completely forgot what my goal for this episode was. Let's hop into the mission control and find out. Let's see here. Active missions. Transfer crew between vessels near Kerbal. Yeah, we're not going to be doing moon stuff just yet then, I guess. So I was thinking that maybe it was moon orbit time, but no, it is transfer crew time. That's okay. We can go ahead and do that. So all we're going to do for that really is we're going to use our Heavy Lifter Mark 1 that we used previously for the rendezvous mission. We're going to put one of those up and then we're going to rendezvous. We'll need to have one of these seats be empty. So we'll just send Jeb up in this flight. We'll put this up in orbit and we'll do that right now. And we'll put it in a somewhat high orbit. Like maybe 100 kilometer. That'll do. That's not exactly a high orbit. It's more high than 70. That's what I mean by a somewhat high orbit there. So we'll go ahead and launch this guy. There's absolutely nothing to be concerned about other than the fact that our staging is still broken and I never fixed that. Let's just go ahead and do that right now. Yep, that looks good. Okay, we're going to start our gravity turn here. There we go. And we'll just lock to prograde for right now. Excellent. We'll do this until our apoapsis height is 100 kilometers. Or until I feel like we're being too aggressive on our gravity turn, whichever comes first. But right now, I'm not feeling that at all. So that is fine. No problem whatsoever thus far. We will be burning out this side stage here in 30 seconds, so that's completely fine, of course. But yeah, we've got ourselves some nice horizontal speed going. This is going pretty well. I'm quite pleased with this. 15 kilometers at this point is our apoapsis. Make that 18. And that's just going to continue to increase. Naturally. That's a very obvious thing to say. I don't know why I'd even say that. Like, that's the way this works. 30 kilometers now. And we're starting to get a lot more efficient. Off go the side boosters. It's not quite a Korolev cross, but it's pretty close, actually. If we had 4 of them, it would be. Fantastic. 45 kilometers is our apoapsis height. And that's half of our target altitude. Excellent. So this is, of course, going extraordinarily well. 60 kilometers. We just hopped into orbital mode, so that's why we switched the prograde pretty dramatically there. We are at 92 degrees. I'd like to pull that down a bit, so let's go ahead and pull that down. Adjust our our inclination a little bit. Not eccentricity. What am I talking about? So something kind of like that should do the trick. 83 kilometers. 90. And target altitude is reached. Cool. So at 100 kilometers here at the apoapsis, we will go ahead and do a circularization burn. Something along the lines of this. Cool. And we will come off of prograde for the moment, head over to that. We're now in space, so this is going to be a burn time of 23 seconds. And it looks like we'll just dip into our maneuver stage a bit. So T-minus 23 is when we want to warp to. So we will go ahead and do so. We'll come out of this warp at about T-minus 30. There we go. And we'll hold on the maneuver node if we can. Burn starts now. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to have to stage here or not. Actually, we won't. We won't have to stage because we'll be in orbit no matter what. If we want to perfect the maneuver here, we might have to stage, but that's not actually necessary. So we can just burn out this stage and call it good. Not exactly the perfect orientation here, but that's okay. 200 meters per second to go here. And stage burns out. Yep, close enough. Beautiful. We'll call that good. And we can go ahead and separate this stage. I definitely need to fix these for the next flight. But we'll go ahead and... What? No. There. This should actually be in this stage. Okay. We don't need to continue burning prograde. There we go. So we'll just chill here. And, of course, Jeb now needs a friend. You see, Bob was supposed to be on this ride, but he overslept today. So we need to get Bob up here. So let's give Bob a ride. Valentina will give him a lift. That'll be okay. They have an arrangement. You see, Kerbals haven't invented alarm clocks. I say as there's an alarm clock up in this corner. But Kerbals haven't invented alarm clocks. This is the way it works. So we're going to launch this again, this exact same module, and we're going to bring Valentina and we're going to bring Bob because Bob was supposed to be along on that ride. So let's go ahead and go. And up we go. We're going to head up immediately here. And we're going to target a slightly lower orbit this time. So, off we go. And we're going to immediately begin pitching downrange. Cool. And now we'll lock to prograde. This is too aggressive. This is too aggressive. Let's get going a little bit faster first. There. Because that was definitely way too aggressive of a gravity turn. So we'll just hold here for a moment. And we'll go back to prograde once we hit, I don't know, 200 meters per second. We'll see how that feels. Back to prograde. Okay. So you can see our inclination is always wanting to be slightly off here. Man, that feels really aggressive. It really, really does. We'll hold at 45 degrees for a bit. Okay. We'll hold here at least until these stages burn off. And that beautiful detach. I like it. I believe they impacted each other and blew up a bit there. That's okay. They can do that. 30-kilometer apoapsis height at this point, and we'll just hop back to prograde soon. Orbital prograde will be fine. We'll do that, I think, at 900 meters per second. I'm just completely spitballing these numbers, for the record. Okay. So back to orbital prograde we go. We're only targeting a 70-kilometer orbit this time. So this will be fine. We're getting a lot of horizontal speed at this point and not vertical speed, which is fine. That's exactly what we need, is more horizontal speed. And I would like to pull our heading down a little bit here. Just to fix that eccentricity a little bit. Not eccentricity, it's inclination. That's twice in this episode I've done that. I have no explanation for this. So we're going to be targeting, I think, like 75, just to give us a little bit of margin here. So that'll be fine. 60 kilometers right there. 63, 64, 65. Excellent. So 70 is there. And that's 75. Cool. So we'll go ahead and add a maneuver here to circularize this a bit. About like so. There we go. And we'll just steer on over to that node. We will, of course, exit the atmosphere soon, and that will update this here. Cool. So we'll just hold this attitude for the moment. We are slowing down a little bit due to atmospheric drag, but that's to be expected. That's why we gave us that 5-kilometer margin. And we really don't need a 5-kilometer margin, but it's good enough. So, how long will this burn actually be? Well, we'll need to get into actual space to find out. We'll time warp here until we're in space. There we go. And that's going to be T-minus 12 seconds that we burn that. Okay, sounds good. We'll go ahead and warp towards that. We'll stop our warp at about T-minus 20. Cool. And this is only 500 meters per second. Nice. And our burn is now. There we go. As I realized that I didn't actually fix the staging. Okay, once we get into orbit, I'm going to hop back to the VAB and fix the staging on this thing. Okay, just targeting that there, and good enough. Cool. So we're going to hop back to the Space Center at this point. Let's fix that staging while I'm thinking about it, because that needs to happen. So Valentina's on her way there, and we are then going to hop over here. We'll hop into the VAB. And we are then going to fix this staging. So we're going to put the drogue chutes here. This is not going to be utilized. We're going to put that up there. This decoupler fires at the same time. Well, actually, it doesn't fire at the same time as the engine. This engine fires at the same time as this decoupler. Otherwise, that's all good. Okay, that is the correct staging. So let's go ahead and leave. And then we will hop into the tracking station. Cool, and we will grab our Heavy Lifter Mark 1, but the second Heavy Lifter Mark 1. There we go. We'll need to fix this staging as well, of course. So this guy goes up to the top, and we put in the drogue chutes here, and these two get combined together. There we go. So that is correct staging. Now, let's go ahead and set this guy as our target. We need to do another rendezvous here. At the periapsis, let's try pushing out our apoapsis up to here. Okay, and let's see how that plays out if we do it in different orbits. Well, that's pretty good. Okay. That's only 17 kilometers apart. Not bad at all there. So let's go ahead and tweak this a little bit, see if we can bring these together. Looks like 15.2 here, but what if we were to do something like this? Oh, missed it a bit. Okay. We are, I think, losing efficiency here. Yes, we are absolutely losing efficiency there. So let's try a radio burn, see if we can get that any closer. Yes, we can. Beautiful. Okay, that's the closest we get radially. And then what if we burn a little bit more prograde? Looks like that's losing efficiency. Okay. .3 kilometers, 1.4. Sure. A little bit more radial there. I saw 0.3. Yep, that's the closest we get there. A little bit more retrograde, perhaps. A little bit more normal. Nope, this is the best we get. Okay, so that's fine. 0.3 kilometers is plenty close. So we are going to go ahead and position for that burn. That is, of course, a fairly complex burn. We'll just get into position for that. Excellent. And we will begin to warp towards it. However, we may well have EVA reports that we can get. So we're just going to sit at like 10x warp for right now, although that'll be like a 6-minute warp. I'm going to go to 50x warp. There we go. That'll be much better. You can see we're drifting off the node here. And that's okay. We're going to switch into target mode. We don't appear to be getting any EVA reports right now. Okay. Let's go ahead and reorient. There we go. Just want to be slightly less off, and we'll oh, there's deserts. EVA, grab it. Got it. Okay, fantastic. I think that's everything that we can get on an equatorial inclination at this point. I don't think they have anything more. So we're going to continue to warp forward at 50 here. Okay. We are about halfway done with this warp at this time. Fantastic. Okay, we should reorient. This would be a little bit more efficient if I wasn't trying to grab EVA reports at the same time. But I do believe that that was the final EVA report. So honestly, we should probably just warp to maneuver. Cool. Is that... What is that? Is that our comsat? Oh, we're all in a line here. I like it. That's actually pretty funny. Okay. So no more auto time warp. And this is going to be a very minute burn. No doubt about that. But we'll just position here. And warp to it again. Cool. And there we can see our target is about 100 kilometers out. So that's not bad. We're going to want to burn this soon. But we'll go ahead and warp. And we're going to burn it fairly carefully. So I'm going to start this burn at like T-minus 10 seconds. The timing of this burn isn't all that necessary. So yeah, we're going to keep this a fairly controlled burn. Let's go ahead and begin that burn. And off we go. Okay. Once again, we're trying to do a very controlled burn here. 0.1 meters per second. Oh my. Apparently. Okay, we'll call that good. How's that looking? Intersect is 0.6 kilometers. Not bad. So at this point, we need to warp over to here. And if we can lock that open, there we go. Badlands. Oh my. Well, we missed that. That's unfortunate. But at this point, we need to burn retrograde to the target. Well, not at this point, but we need to burn soon retrograde to the target. And we'll just go ahead and continue to warp in. We are 2 kilometers away. 1 kilometer away. Okay. So 600 meters is our closest approach. So I think we're going to burn this at like 800 meters. So right about... this is good enough. We're getting further away. So there we go. We'll just get our burn a little bit more controlled here as we get to the equilibrium point. There we go. And now we will burn towards target. Excellent. So we'll bring this in at about 5 meters per second. And we'll just have to refine this approach a few more times. So we'll pop over to retrograde. And what is our closest approach right now? 0.1 kilometers. That's pretty good. So we'll just warp to about the ascending node here. Cool. We're about 100 meters away. And we'll just begin a very gentle braking. There we go. And now we'll need to burn towards the target. I'm not sure what direction the target node is on the nav ball here. There it is. Excellent. So we will position here and burn towards target at about 1 meter per second. We don't want to go too quick right now. We'll flip around to target retrograde. Cool. We'll warp in at 10x speed. And we just want to park somewhere around, I don't know, 30 to 50 meters away. Okay. So this is a little small right now. There's no doubt about that. Kind of hard to read, probably. Well, it's certainly hard to read for me. Okay, we're going to go ahead and break. There we go. And now Bob needs to transfer on over. So we're going to have him EVA. He will let go. He'll turn on his RCS thruster pack. And over he goes. Moving at 2 kilometers per second here. Okay, so he just impacted here. Which side is the crew hatch? It is on the bottom. Got it. Okay, just lining up here. And now we're going to need to go up. And a little bit forward. Cool. So we'll grab on. He didn't grab. Okay. We'll just board. There we go. So Jeb has boarded. And now we're going to have to bring these back, of course. So we got that contract parameter complete. And now we're just going to go orbital retrograde here. And this is a wildly overkill rocket for this, of course, but we'll just go ahead and bring this on back until our periapsis is about 20 kilometers. There we go. And let's go ahead and re-enter. We're going to have to bring both of these back, of course. Okay. So we will physics warp and try to bring this back as quickly as possible. In all honesty, I think we'll just move this up, and we're just going to burn off a bunch of speed here while we're high up in the atmosphere. And we're just going to try to do a really abbreviated re-entry here, because we need to get both of these back, and fairly quickly at that. So we're going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to keep a little bit of fuel in the tank, like 10 seconds worth. There we go. And at this point, we can actually activate the drogue chutes, which is kind of funny. But I'm actually going to... Oh, that didn't deploy. Okay. Well, let's just go ahead and continue to physics warp here. And we're slowing back down. Perfect. Drogues are now deployable. So we'll deploy those. We'll grab our crew report and our temperature scan, I guess, over the deserts. We didn't have that before. So that's something. Main is now deployable, and down we go. We'll just physics warp down to the ground. We're going to be just barely splashing down in the shores here. That's okay. So we'll just continue to physics warp here, and when we are a little bit from hitting the ground, we will go ahead and burn a little bit of speed. We'll just continue to physics warp down to about 100 meters above the surface. We're 300 now. 200. 100. Okay. So we'll drop the physics warp, and we will go ahead and burn this now. Cool. Apparently we still need mystery goo observation and material study from here. We'll grab both of those. And we'll just go ahead and recover that. Excellent. And now we're going to need to bring Valentina back as well. So let's go ahead and do that as soon as we get back into the KSC here. Any moment now. There we go. So we only got 12.3 science from that, but that's okay. Hey, Bob advanced to level 1. Good job, Bob. And we're now going to grab our Hever Lifty. Yeah, that's right. I forgot that I named it the Hever Lifty. That is a perfect title. Okay, and we're going to do pretty much the same re-entry here. So we're going to go to retrograde. And we're going to burn this on down until we have a periapsis here of about 20 kilometers. That'll do. And we'll go ahead and time warp. until we hit atmosphere, and then we'll physics warp. Excellent. So now we'll physics warp as we orient retrograde. We'll move this up over here, and we're just going to burn off quite a lot of speed here until we have a burn time of about 10 seconds left. Once again, these are very abbreviated re-entries. I would normally do quite a lot more aero braking, but trying to make this quick. 30 seconds. 20. There we go. That'll do. Excellent. So we're too high right now, of course, for our drogue chutes, but that's okay. We're starting to hit the thicker parts of the atmosphere and slowing on down. And drogue chutes are now deployable, so there we go. Drogue chutes out and main chute out, and we're just going to continue to physics warp down to the ground. Well, technically this is water, not ground, but you know what I mean. There's the drogue chutes deploying, and 1 kilometer above, the main chute deploys. 700 meters. 600. 500. 400. 300. 200. 100 meters. Okay. And we will begin our burn momentarily. Right about now. Just cushioning it a little bit there. We'll grab our materials study here, since apparently we still need a little bit there. 0.1 science. And we will just recover that vessel. Fantastic. So that got that out of the way, and the question now becomes, do we have any moon orbit contracts yet? That would be awful nice. What do we got going on here? 8.1 science from that flight. Hey, moon orbit. I like it. And that will be a job for next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.